guess who's back? I said, guess who's back? Man, guess
I'm going to defend my WBC title, and I'm going to have a good Christmas.
For the last 6 years, whenever you've been asked about potential opponents to finish your career, you've always mentioned Chisora in that.
Yeah.
I can't remember which fight it was. You went in the dressing room and told him that you would give him a trilogy, but you've always said that Chisora at some point.
Final bow out. I have always said that. You remember? Good observation.
Final bow out.
I ain't going anywhere. I ain't going nowhere. Going nowhere. I ain't going anywhere, you know. I tried retirement for a bit and wasn't for me. I'm back. And someone's going to have to retire me before I retire. That's a fact.
But when you announced your retirement, you had every intention, because people are asking now, how comes you're back, etc., etc. But you had every intention when you retired to stay retired at that time.
Yep, 100%.
But things changed and...
Things change, and a normal life's not for me. I can't take the normal life of the everyday man. I have to be in fights, and I have to be fighting still. Chisora's still going. He's 38 years old. He's had a million wars, and why can't I?
Frank Warren made reference in that press conference to you and him wasting a whole month working on this Anthony Joshua fight. Is that how you look at that month? Is it a complete wasted month for trying to do that?
A lot of time and energy and money wasted. Yeah, they didn't want the fight. They should have just said it in the beginning, but here's what it is. You're messing with snakes, scorpions. Here's what it is. I'm over it. Move on.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Just a quick update. This is an exclusive. This is a clip of an exclusive interview that Tyson Fury did just very recently about his upcoming fight with Derek Ward Chisora. No one really saw this fight coming. Everyone thought it was going to be Anthony Joshua. Obviously, negotiations fell through, and we've got a new fight on our hands with Derek Chisora. Now, a lot of the public are not interested in this fight, did not want to see this fight, did not ask for this fight. Frank Warren came out in the press conference and kind of gave an excuse, because he knew it was a bit of a rubbish fight, gave an excuse that there was no one available. Joseph Parker, a whole bunch of people, and he was quite right about a lot of the things he said. A lot of people have tied up with fights or have just recently had fights, and although there were some fighters outside of the top 10, Derek Chisora was the best fighter who was free at the moment, and so they made the fight again. I think some of that's a bit of a cover up. I think Fury always said that he would fight Chisora, and he's been saying it for a long time, and so they wanted to make that fight, but they kind of covered it up a bit. I'm sure there's someone else that he could have fought, but, you know, maybe not. Derek Chisora maybe was the best fighter that was available. Now, in this video, I'm going to talk about some things that a lot of people may not agree with me. I'm almost certain people are not going to agree with me and going to say that I'm totally reaching in a whole bunch of things I'm going to say, but this, I'm kind of a bit of I like a psychological point of view about Tyson Fury, about people's characters. And Tyson Fury has a very unusual character, and I feel like I understand him. I understand his actions, and I feel like I kind of understand why he does certain things. He does certain things which are kind of, they seem like one thing, but is actually another thing. I'm going to kind of explain what I'm talking about and kind of delve into the personality and character traits of Tyson Fury. I feel like the reason why I think this is necessary is because he makes a lot of strange decisions and does things that people sometimes don't understand, and then sometimes they jump to conclusions for why he does certain things. And from looking at his character, I think there's a lot of other things going on. So the first thing, the negotiations with Anthony Joshua, I don't think this was real. I think that what happened is, okay, let's go back to the beginning. When Anthony Joshua was on top and he was winning and he was knocking out people and he was just the, the king, and everyone was holding up Anthony Joshua, people were praising Anthony Joshua as the best thing since sliced bread, the best thing since Muhammad Ali. And they were saying that Tyson Fury wouldn't have a chance against AJ. Tyson Fury did not like this. Yeah, this really got him very angry and probably added to his depression, because he was thinking, I'm a British heavyweight, I'm a great fighter. I believe I'm the best. Why is everyone talking about this bodybuilder, as he calls him? And he kind of built up a bit of a hatred for Anthony Joshua. Yeah, a dislike for Anthony Joshua because he was getting all this limelight. Now, when Tyson Fury beat Klitschko, he thought that he would be able to get that limelight back from Anthony Joshua and be the public's favourite instead of Anthony Joshua. And it kind of backfired because they were like, oh, all you really did was outpoint him, but Anthony Joshua knocked him out. Or, you know what I mean? And when he saw that he didn't really get the love from the fans, he became disillusioned, and then he comes up with this kind of moody character where he kind of doesn't care about anything. And this is the kind of character he's kind of showing now. He always shows this character when he's kind of upset with how he's being treated in some way. He kind of throws his toys out of the pram. He's got this kind of character. If something doesn't go his way, he always acts in this way, and I've seen this pattern with him many times. That was the first time I saw this kind of attitude that he's showing in recent interviews, that he's unhappy with things. And what I think has happened is, so when, just going back, because it's going to be relevant to what I'm saying, so he got disillusioned with the public because they were going for Anthony Joshua all the time, and they didn't really rate him. He went off and then he declined to fight Klitschko in the rematch, and after he beat him, and that's why he got stripped, which is fair because Klitschko was a champion for 10 years. You have to rematch the champion. Everyone knows that. But he didn't. He got stripped, and then he felt this was unfair, and then he thought it was unfair that he'd be stripped and everyone's going for Anthony Joshua, and then this added to his depression. Even though people won't say it, his depression happened straight after this. He went off for how many years, had his depression, and then all this stuff happened. When he came back, he had this fight with Deontay Wilder, and when he beat Deontay Wilder in the second fight and then the third fight, he was now and then this coincided with Anthony Joshua losing. This now elevated Tyson Fury suddenly to the best in the world, which no one really knows is the best in the world. All he did was beat Deontay Wilder. You can't count Klitschko because Anthony Joshua beat Klitschko as well. It's only Deontay Wilder who was one of the best, and because he beat Deontay Wilder, that's why he's been elevated to the best. So now, he felt happy that he has the fans back on his side, but he still has this dislike of Anthony Joshua. Now, when Anthony Joshua lost his recent fight with Alexander Usyk, Tyson Fury kind of kicked him while he was down, saying he's a dosser, I told you he was a dosser, and he kind of thought that the fans would be behind him now because Anthony Joshua has now been shown as a fraud. But instead of the fans getting behind him, they kind of said, oh, you shouldn't kick a man while he's down and stuff like that. So Tyson Fury, who always wants to be seen as the people's favourite who's in the right, he kind of then said, oh, you know what, even though Anthony Joshua's lost, I'm going to offer him a lifeline to fight me, even though he doesn't deserve it. Yeah, so he got the public back on side, thinking that he's this nice guy, which I think he is a nice guy. And there's this little battle between wanting to seem like the king of Britain. He wants the UK fans to be behind him, not behind Anthony Joshua. But he'll never say this. But that's what's kind of underlining some of his actions. Yeah. So he offered Anthony Joshua the fight. Now, bear in mind, Anthony Joshua just had, 2 wars with Usyk. He needs a little bit of time. But Anthony Joshua accepted it. He realised that he was down. He thought, let's fight. He accepted the fight with Fury. Now, Fury never really cared about this fight, I don't think. I don't think he really cared. I just think he wanted to seem as if he's offering Joshua something that he doesn't deserve. He kind of forced him to be ready on his terms, knowing that he can't get ready that quickly. Anthony Joshua accepted. They did the contract, but the contract was being reviewed by lawyers, which is a process that you cannot skip. It has to be done because they have to check at this level, these millionaires, yeah, everything has to be checked by lawyers. So it all got seen through. Joshua agreed, Eddie Hearn agreed, and then it was with the lawyers, and Tyson Fury didn't really want to wait, and then it was like, oh, I'm only going to wait 1 more week, and then he said, I'm moving on. When the truth is, if they really wanted the fight, they could have held on a little bit more until it came back from the lawyers and it was all signed, and then they've got a huge fight with Anthony Joshua, and that would have been huge. And then after this, he could have gone on to fight Usyk, but he didn't really want to wait. Why didn't he want to wait? It's just that it's that same kind of impatient, kind of a childish character that I always see Tyson Fury. He throws these toys out of the pram when he doesn't get his own way. And this is just another example of Tyson Fury doing this. So basically what I'm getting at is that he probably knew that Anthony Joshua wouldn't be ready. He didn't really want to give him any time. He already kind of has a dislike for Anthony Joshua, so he doesn't even really want to give him the payday. He just wanted to make himself look like he was offering the fight and he took it away. Just really to kick Anthony Joshua again while he's down, because Anthony Joshua kicked him when he was down by being the favourite with the public, and he wasn't at the time. I think this is what it's all to do with. Trust me, he's this type of person, but he just doesn't show it. The second point I want to make about Tyson Fury, he said he was retiring, right? He said 100% I'm retiring, I'm leaving, and then all of a sudden he's come back. Now some people will say it was always his intention to come back. He was never really going to retire. He was just saying that so that everything would die down, and then he'd, maybe renegotiate his contract or whatever and then come back. A lot of people do this. He was always going to come back and fight. This could be true. This could be very true. This is the thing that is most likely to be true. But to be honest, I know I'm in the minority. I believe him. I don't think he was going to come back. I believe him. He said he was going to retire. I could see in his face, in his mannerisms, he wanted to retire. And he wanted to try and be a family man and finish, because his wife has been saying it for a while. He wants to spend time with his kids. I'll tell you exactly what happened. He retired and he got bored because he has to be active to stop his depression and stuff from happening. That's what happens to people like him who need to be active. You know what they say about idle hands. If he's not doing anything, he turns to doing things that are not so good. And this is exactly what's happened to him. Since he retired, he's had another episode of a breakdown. You can just tell. And I think personally, I don't want to say too much, but I think he's been influenced again with the drink. He's already admitted to having a few drinks, and he's been on record saying he doesn't want to drink alcohol, so he's already broken that one. And I think he may have gone even further, maybe with drugs, with cocaine, with all the stuff he was taking before. I think he went right back onto it. There's even some kind of mannerisms in his interview that look, if you know what these mannerisms look like, he looks like he's back on some of the things he was taking before. And I think that scared him, because he knows that it's a complete slippery slope down to the bottom. And I think he thought, I can't go back into his depression, because it almost killed him last time. I think he went out, he took stuff, the depression started coming on him, and he thought, you know what, I need to get back into boxing. So he got back into training, and that's why he's come back. Because if you watch him in his interview, his mannerisms seem like someone who may be on something. He may not be, but he seems like it. It seems like he took something. And I feel like that scared him. And I think, like, if you look at his interview, he's made a complete 180. He said, yeah, I meant it when I said I was off, but now I'm back. I realise I am not a person who can be a family man who's just off and just having a normal life. I have to be active. I have to be doing something. I'd rather somebody retire me than just be a normal person doing nothing. Which is a code word for I cannot live a normal life without taking something that's going to harm me. That's what I think his issue is. And I think this is very dangerous. Because if you're coming back to boxing to get away from your demons outside of boxing, this is when you're likely to lose. I don't think the passion might not be there anymore. I don't really see that. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe the passion's there, but I don't really see that the passion's there. I see more the motivation now is coming from the fear of not having boxing. Do you see what I mean? So when you've got addictions, you want to keep yourself active all the time, because as soon as you're not active, those addictions come back full force. That is what's going on with him. I can tell when he's speaking his interview, it's more like fear. It's more like, I can't be away from boxing. I can't be away from training. He just wants to be training and fighting just so that he doesn't get back into that slippery slope. That's what I see in him now. So this fight with Chisora, I mean, if Chisora was ever going to have a chance against Fury, which I don't think he does, it's going to be now, because Fury, I think, is fighting for the wrong reason. The only motivation I think he might have is to beat Usyk. Usyk or Joshua or both. If he can get those two fights, you know, he might be happy with that. But I'm not too convinced with. I'm not too convinced with his kind of explanation that he wants to get back into boxing and he just wants to be active. He's better like that. You know, I do believe that, but I think he's running away from something. Either way, it's better than facing the demons and going down that slippery slope again. So I'm happy to see him back in boxing anyway. I hope we see the fight with Usyk, and I hope he fights Joshua, and I even hope he fights the new improved Wilder again. But we'll see. We'll see what happens to Fury. I hope that this is not the downfall of Fury, because when you're a fighter, you have to come back. If you retired, you have to come back for the right reasons. You know, if you look at all the people in the past who came back because maybe they ran out of money or anything that wasn't the love of boxing, they all lost dramatically. You know, there's never been anyone who was successful, regained their title or anything when they didn't come back for the right reasons. So I just hope that Tyson Fury is coming back for the right reasons. In regards to the actual fight, I haven't got much to say about the fight. You know, we've seen them fight 2 times before. Chisora couldn't do anything to Fury the first time or the second time. I doubt he can do much the third time, but they do say third time lucky. I kind of, the reason why I'm not that excited, I will watch it, but I think, you know, if Chisora lands his best shot on Fury's chin, I still don't think he beats Fury, you know, because Wilder's landed so many shots on Fury's chin and Fury was still, you know, strong enough to come back. So I don't think Chisora's going to be able to make a dent in him the third time, and he'll probably end up getting knocked out. We'll have to see, but yeah, what's more interesting is Fury's motivation. I think he's got an underlying motivation for coming back to boxing, which is not the most obvious reason, and I think it's much more to do, like I said, with his demons outside the ring than within the ring. But yeah, let me know what you think. This was a bit of a long video. I did want to get into the psychology of Tyson Fury here. Let me know if you think I'm talking absolute nonsense. I have watched him for a very long time, from when he fought that guy McDermott. That's how long I've been watching Tyson Fury in his early career, and he's always had this kind of up and down character. If you say something he doesn't like, he really has a bit of a tantrum, and I just feel like he's just quite a volatile character. Whereas Anthony Joshua, even though Anthony Joshua has had some outbursts, I think he's a much more calm and level-headed character in a way. Tyson Fury definitely has more demons, I feel, and I think he's trying to get rid of them through boxing. Man, guess who's back? Guess who's back? Once again, guys, just want to take this time to say thank you, and I appreciate everyone who took time out to watch my videos. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel.